Principal of Queens, Daniel Wolf, announced that Queens will be reinstating homecoming next October. In 2008, there was a party of drunk people which resulted into a riot. The riot resulted in flipping a car and lighting it on fire. Queens and the city council announced that homecoming would be cancelled then. Recently, Daniel Wolf announced that Queens will reinstate homecoming after extensive discussion. How will reinstating homecoming affect Queens and Kingston?
Well, the current plan is for there to be two homecomings, 2 weekends in October. So back in 2008, they were having it in September when it was warmer weather. So now going back to October, it'll be cooler weather. So there might be fewer opportunities to be outdoors. You might have rainy weather and stuff like that. So they're not anticipating that there'll be big street parties, and they'll have probably, close to half the people on one weekend and half the people on the other weekend. So that will be fewer people to get involved in parties like that. And in terms of our economy, it's good. It's good because we can accommodate that many people coming for the hotels and the restaurants, and it should be a good experience all the way around. And I think the citizens of Kingston will be happier if it's not something that's, ends up being like 2008 was.
Thanks. Homecoming will be held on 2 weekends instead of one in October 2013. The 4th to the 6th and the 18th to the 20th. We hope that this will not result the same way as the homecoming did in 2008. What was homecoming like in the past?
Well, I can go back until sort of 1970 is the first homecoming that I would know because that's when I first came to Queens. And homecoming then was in October. There was always a football game and lots of the alumni coming back, but there weren't street parties. It was just a happy time, and the football game was really the big focus. And because it was in October, it was cooler than September weather, so people usually weren't outside at nighttime. That's what it was like that I remember.
What happened in 2008?
That was the big party on Aberdeen Street, I think, when the cars were set on fire. Lots of university students ended up going to hospital because they'd had too much to drink, and so they were really, really sick. The police were there with horses, and it was just a real mess. It really got out of hand, and a lot of students came from other universities, and high school students were there. It was just dangerous all the way around, and I think the citizens of Kingston were pretty disappointed at the mess. There were all sorts of broken bottles, and there was people's yards were all messed up, and it just wasn't a very nice situation at all. And so the university decided that they had to do something about it, and they had task forces to think about what they could do, and in the end decided to stop homecoming in the fall for a while. They had a reunion in the springtime, which wasn't as popular.
Did that affect Queens and Kingston's reputation?
Oh yeah, because it made all the national media. Queens doesn't really want to have themselves be known because of problems going on in the university that way. They want to be known for having good programs and students that do really, really well, get good jobs, and researchers that, discover new things. They don't want to be known for riots or, parties that get out of hand and being a drinking university, that kind of stuff. So it wasn't the best kind of publicity to have.
How does homecoming affect Kingston's economy?
It's a big thing for the economy. There's a lot of hotel rooms that are rented. All the restaurants benefit from having the alumni come back home to Kingston, and so closing it in the fall was a big deal because tourism, the regular tourists, they stop around Labor Day really, because all the kids go back to school and the parents are back at work. So the fall is a time when homecoming was important for the Kingston economy.
How was it when there was no homecoming?
Well, it didn't stop all the parties completely, because when we have nice weather in September and the new students are here, they still have parties, but we didn't have one of those Aberdeen Street kind of parties. One of the other things that happened since 2008 is Queens built the recreation center, and so some of those houses that were down in that Aberdeen Street area are no longer student houses. There's fewer students living in that area. There's other things going on, so that kind of took away from the number of people that were there to party. But in terms of the economy, I think the businesses downtown especially did feel bad effects from there not being a homecoming, and the alumni themselves were disappointed because they always like to come back and see the students. If they came in the springtime, most of the students had already left for their summer jobs, and so it wasn't the same feeling as coming back to the university that you knew, where you saw all the students and you had a football game. So it's good that it's going back to the fall. People are happy about that.